You might be thinking that coding a marketplace application from bottom up is going to be time consuming and hard and almost impossible. Well, I'm here to prove you wrong. In this startup series, we are going to be building a marketplace application from bottom up, and this is going to be episode 5. In this episode, we're of course going to be continuing on where we left on the last video. And this video's agenda is to create the profile view in the top right corner. I already have implemented the profile button, but nothing happens if I press this button. On top of that, we will be doing slight modifications into the add listing page, which is right here. And basically, we are going to make this a 2-page form where the user can first input all the text data and numeric data, and after that we will make the image selection a little bit better. Here is the sketch for the site, and I'm just quickly going to draw that what we're going to be building in this video. So yeah, guys, this is basically what we're going to be building in this video. So right here, the profile view, we will provide some of the profile information right here at the top of the screen, and below that we will have the user's listings. And within all these listings, there will be buttons to, for example, modify, delete, and view or hide the listings from other users. But yeah, without further ado, let's start coding it out. And guys, if you like this type of content, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And our first task is to implement the route to the profile page. And I have made the page.tsx file right here into the app and /profile path. And in here, we can just import everything we need, and we will need all of these. And then we will just define the profile page component. And within the component, we will first check for the session. And if there is a session, and so basically if the user is logged in, we can continue. But if he's not logged in, we will not show the profile, of course. The user has to log in order for the profile to be visible. And after that, we can just get the user listings by the get listings by user function that I have defined. And then we can just basically start building the page right here. So our first task is to implement the profile info section at the top. And if we now go and look into the profile, we can see that there is the email. It's showing, so everything's working fine. The route is working. And yeah, I have also added this edit button to the profile so we can edit the profile info, but that's not a working component yet. After this, we can just basically map the listings. And for each listing, we will provide the list title and the listing price. So right now, if we hit save and look at the page, we will see that there will be a one listing, which is uploaded by this user. And yeah, and after this, we can just implement all the buttons and basically save the file. And now we can see that there are 4 buttons, one for viewing the listing. We can check that it works. Yeah, it works perfectly. Then for the modify, this we will implement soon. And also the delete and hide listing. But basically, these will all need database connections and make queries to the database. And now we can move on to the modify page. So now if we click this, there is basically nothing here, so it should throw an error. But if we go back, refresh the page, and we just have to implement this page right here. And within this page, we basically also want to import everything we need at the first, and after that we'll just define the component so the modify listing page. We will get the listing from the parameter, so basically from the URL. In this, we will also check if the listing exists, and if it exists, we can continue, but if it does not, we will not continue. And then we also need to check if the user is logged in and the user is the same one that has uploaded the listing. And if that's true, we can continue on. But if it's not, we have to return an error right here. And then we can basically just implement the modify listing function, and we can get the pictures also from the Cloudinary. We will need the pictures in order to modify the post. For example, if the user wants to add more pictures or delete the pictures. Basically, after that, all we have to do is to copy and paste our component that is used to add the listing. So this is basically just that copied, and then what I did more is that I implemented the default values for the title and price and etc. And we can get all that information from this listing component, which is retrieved from the database. And yeah, that's basically it. Now we can save the file, and now if we try to modify, yeah, there we go. We have this fully functional modifying page right here. And yeah, that's basically it for the profile page. We still have to implement this delete and hide listing buttons in the profile page right here. I have defined the functions already. And now our job is basically to implement those two functions. So the functionality for deleting and hiding the listing. We'll first do the hide listing function. This takes a listing ID as the parameter. It basically retrieves the listing from the database, check if it exists, and then we will just update this is visible parameter, which is basically in the listing, and the default value of that is true, but we will update it to whatever it is not in the database. So basically the opposite of that. So therefore this button can be used to hide and also again show the listing. And at the end we will just revalidate the path, and for catching the error we will just return the error message. After that we can implement the delete listing function, and this also takes the listing ID as the parameter, and we will just wrap this around a try catch method. We will first just delete the listing with the corresponding ID, and after that we will also retrieve all the images that are connected to that listing ID. Then we will just take all the listing IDs as a list, and then we will loop the list, and with this Cloudinary uploader destroy function, we will delete them from Cloudinary as well. And after that, we'll just revalidate the path, and also right here, if there's an error, we will just return the error message. And yeah, that's basically it. And now we can, for example, try that if we refresh this page, that now the listing should be visible. So if we go into the listings, we can see that it's visible right there. But if we go to the profile and hide the listing and we go back, there is no listings available. So other users won't see it. And yeah, now we can just set it visible and go back here. And yeah, there it's visible. And you guys might be wondering, how does that work? And the thing is that here, when all the listings they're retrieved from the database, and I will only show on the ones that are visible. So basically the ones that the is visible method is true. And that's basically it. And now the user can modify, delete, view its own listings. It's much more easy to use and stuff like that. And yeah, now when that's done, we can move on to modifying the add new functionality. And my plan is to move this images uploading button maybe even like completely off this page, and then modify this submit as well to be, I'll just search for it, and I'll just modify this to be like save basic informations, or like save basic information. Then we can add here at the top that there could be like an 3, maybe with the same styling almost. I'll just modify this to be like Excel or even just like large, and then like start by inputting basic information like that. And I think what I'll do is that I'll just separate this completely, and then I'll just make another route here, which basically takes the listing ID as the parameter. We'll add some sort of like this sort of a route. So add images, and then here we will implement the page.tsx. And in the page.tsx, we can just basically define the add images function. And here we'll just return, and then I'll just make it this a div. This actually needs to be in a form. So let's just do that. And then we also need a action right here. And for the action, we actually need to modify our actions a little bit. So let's put that right there. And then within the actions, we will have to basically just copy this right here. I could probably just use another function, but I'll do it like this. Async function, add images. Let's do that. And then we will need to provide the listing ID, which is going to be a string. And then we will find the listing, or like check if the listing exists. So that can be done using prisma.listing.findUnique. Where ID is listing ID. There we go. And then we can just check that if there is no listing found, we can just throw an error basically saying that no listing found. And after that, we can just basically, so if the listing is found, we can just basically run this function. And this is not the res ID, this is going to be the listing ID. Listing.id. Yeah, there we go. And then we also need to provide the files that, of course, the files that the user wants to input. So that's basically going to be from the form data, which is going to be form data right there. Now we can just basically say that the files are form data. This needs to be get all as a list of files, and that's basically it. And now we just have to implement this here. This does need to have params, which are going to be params. They can be a type of any, and then we will just have to find the listing, which is going to be this is actually going to be a async function, get listing, and this is going to take params.listingID as the parameter. And right here again, if there is no listing found, we will just return that the listing not found. There we go. But if the listing exists, we can just define a add images function. I'll just call it like that, which is going to be add images.bind null, and then we're just going to provide the listing.id for that function. And then here we'll just add the images with this function. There we go. That should be basically it. And now we can just, and now we need to implement a button that says like next, whenever this basic information is saved to the database. And after that, we can show the button that the user can click on to continuing on to the next, and that next is going to be basically this form right here. So yeah, I changed this button to say save basic information and continue, And then I also deleted the image upload from this form, and I actually created this completely new form to add the images, of course. And then I changed here on the actions that when the user submits this form, basically the add listings form, if saving information is successful, the user is redirected straight into this page where the user can add more images. And yeah, now I'm basically implementing that, and many of this actually can just be copy and pasted basically from this page right here. So I'll just copy that one right there as well, and we can copy that. We'll get that one right there, and then we will just also copy the showcase of the images. It's this one right here. And now we can just basically go here, and I think it will be, yeah, it's gonna be best under this one right here. Then we'll just have to import all these. So delete button, that one also, and then the cloudinary resource type right there, and also the delete image. And yeah, that's basically it. Now we can hit save, and we can actually try if this works. There seems to be something funky going on with the redirect function right here. I'm guessing if it's actually the fact that we're trying to both redirect and revalidate the path. But I guess that listing now went here. Yeah, it's right here, but it just doesn't have any images. And the user can, of course, go here and modify the images, but I want the user to be able to implement the images right here as well. So let's just put like house 2, the price is something random. Now if we hit that, just redirect now. If there's some problem with the redirecting, I'll try to figure that one out. Okay, so guys, I just finished implementing the add images function, and I had a little bit of problem with the revalidate path and the redirect on here in the right here. I can actually delete that one right there. I had a little bit of problems with the redirect, but it turns out that the redirect is better defined outside the try catch method rather than inside it. So that figured the things out, and then I also implemented this add images function, which basically loops through the files. And as the end result, we can just put here like house in, I don't know, Germany, for example, and then we can just put some sort of a price, house in Germany, description right there, and then just some random contact email. And then when we hit this save basic information and continue, the user is redirected to this page where the user can input files. So let's just input some random file or image. For example, this furniture picture, and now when I hit save, this image is saved into the database and linked to the listing, and now the user can also delete it from here and stuff like that. But most importantly, when we go to the marketplace listings, we can see here that boom, house in Germany, it has the one picture right there. And that's basically it for this video. I hope you guys liked the content. Now you actually saw me coding a little bit more than on the previous videos, and we actually got quite a lot of done during this video. And yeah, if you like this type of content, please let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!